I don't know if you noticed, we're wearing the same thing like last time.
Yeah.
Same
For
colors
yeah. I
for
find
Osho.
that,
Mm.
you have a white background, so it looks good, and then I have a black background. So the contrast really looks nice.
Yeah, agree. I committed to wearing just plain black for Osho
Interesting.
for no reason. Ready?
I'm ready. Well,
I'm
you could look at
destroying
it.
the book.
Yeah, I see that orange highlighter.
Orange this time.
Um, yeah, there's some like psychology behind colors and what you're wearing.
Hmm.
And black is like absorbing, so it's fitting for Tantra.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. Interesting. Okay, so I woke up at 5 this morning to read this. I
Good.
was so
Sleeping in.
high on it. And honestly, I really like that we are doing this early morning because we're so clean and pure and unpolluted. Um, I love it. I love
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
I love it so much. How did you feel reading it? Did you read it this morning or the other day?
Both. And the first time I messaged you like right after, and I was like, "Can we do this every day? Reading every day?" I just felt it just felt really rich and enjoyable, and like something within me is like not craving it, but just like feeling deep, like feeling deeper. It's feeling satisfied with how deep it goes. And so,
And
yeah,
what do you think that something is?
that's a great question. I don't think I can answer it.
I uh I feel it or sense it as freedom to be, because he does touch a lot on just be, just everything that there is to suppress is yours. Why
Hmm.
pushing it away? Why calming it down? Why, just gain that awareness that it's there and slowly move into the acceptance. And as I was reading it, I was like, I feel so free just to be
Hmm.
everything that shows up for me. And I was so happy. I was so joyful.
Hmm.
That's why I was
Yeah,
like, what is that something that kind of makes you just cool
yeah, yeah. You look
about
great.
yourself?
You have great energy right now. I just want to highlight that. It's
Yeah.
it's funny to because there is something shifting in me already that I notice. Um, the other day, Carly, I was watching the kids, or was this yesterday? Yeah, maybe this was yesterday. And I was just having a tough day. It's just like didn't have energy for breaking up fights and getting them to listen and all this stuff. And I could recognize that part of their behavior was mirrored on my energy, but there was like little I could do to try to show up even more. So I was aware of that. And then Carly came, she came out and wanted to film this thing which involved all three kids, which is like we are racing each other and I can beat her pretty easily. And then the second time I'm holding all three kids and she's just showing like you can't do the same things when you have a family. So don't expect yourself to. But at the whole time in filming it, I was like, I was just, um, if there was like behind the scenes or we were doing a show, I would have been maybe a little bit embarrassed because I was in a mood and I was clearly showing it like, oh, like just huffing and puffing and like, where's the camera got to go? Where are we going? Just like very short tempered with her and not proud of it, but when we wrapped up, I just expressed to her kind of what triggered my frustration and then how I acted out. And I just explained it to her. And she was like, yeah, I think it would be better if you didn't tell me all that stuff because now I feel stressed. And I was like, hold on, hold on.
Mm,
The worst thing that, like, I recognize that and I don't intend to cause you stress. There's not much I can do to control that. Of course, I could just not tell you stuff. But what I recognize in myself is when I suppress things, they start to manifest in weird ways. Like,
mm,
I can tell you now, and you have like an impact on my, based on my mood or based on how I'm reacting. But if I suppress it and then we think everything's good, and then you leave for the day and I'm home alone, that's when the trouble stirs. When there's like a triggering event to kind of pull out that suppression. And so in just expressing to her fully what it was and how it felt, as I was telling her, I'm like smiling and laughing. And she's like, I just can't. She's like, I can't handle when you're in a mood like that because it just puts me in this place. And I said, look at me. Do you see? I'm smiling ear to ear right now. Like I'm recognizing, yeah, of course I wasn't nice, and I wish I would have done better. I can't do much about that now. But I'm sharing with you, and in reading this and looking back, I'm like, this is essentially the path of Tantra is like fully accepting even the parts of us that we don't think are acceptable or lovely or easygoing. And this just came up. Um, I think it was in a Gene Keys talk. You were saying how you have your mornings blocked off, and you said, "Well, if you want the best from me, then you have to give me that time." I was just thinking about that because I'm like, um, if we were closer, if we lived, you and I, if we lived in the same building or something, I I would probably like if you set a firm boundary, of course I would respect it, but um I would be like, it's okay. You can be at your worst and I'm still gonna be here. Like that's the level of relationship that I want to have with people.
mm. Which is unconditional.
Yeah, of course we can
With-
aspire to unconditionality, but
Yeah, meaning it doesn't have conditions, tit for tat, me for you, I, so you have to, I do, so you do, right? So it's almost
hmm
like it's almost like, and interesting, I wrote this morning, love is, there's no reason for love to exist. It just is. The same way, like
yeah.
there's no reason for flower to flower and be beautiful. It just is. And it's almost like you can't you can't stop what is natural.
hmm
Same way, like you can't stop if I'm angry or jealous or envied or like, lonely or full of arousal for life or and for connection. It's like I can't stop it. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's and when I try to force it to stop, same way, like you can't just force someone not to be gay. It's just like it's
Yeah.
impossible. It's there or it's not. And when it's there, it's there. When it's not, it's not. And if when I do it, when we try to do it, it's like it's doing us no good. And
hmm
what you're saying, I wanted to add for Carly, she's Cancer, and to understand this, and then to understand the archetypes that are developed through the personalities who are
hmm
stoppers. Personalities are stoppers. They want to stop us and limit us. She absorbs you and her.
hmm
So it's almost like a double-edged sword that she has to deal with. So not only does she deal with herself, only she deals with you as well. That's why
Yeah.
it becomes unbearable in a Cancerian way, because they can't help but not to like give themselves to
Yeah. Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Yeah. But and I should say,
Yeah.
because we've, in 8 years, we've we've had attempts on both sides, like, okay, the suppression route and also the expression route. And I know there's
Mm-hmm.
a balance to it as well, like, because I can over express every single feeling I have as a Pisces, and it can be overwhelming. Um, but if it's something so strong and directly tied in with like her and I, that's that's where I recognize when I suppress it versus when I share it. When I share it in the moment, she feels the weight of it, but then I'm like reassuring her immediately after, like, look, now it's off my chest. Now I've expressed it, and we can go back to life. But when it's suppressed, it's like this simmering thing, and then it's deeper issues, or like cutting remarks, or now there's a cold shoulder up between her and I, or it's like it festers and it becomes it's deeper down, and then it becomes a bigger issue as it starts to surface. Like, it's almost like it's
Mm-hmm.
a single pimple, and if you just pop it, then it's just one pimple. But if this is how that worked, I'm not a dermatologist, but if you left it alone and tried to like cover it and put makeup on it and did all this stuff, and then all of a sudden your whole face is broken out in pimples.
Yeah.
Sorry for the analogy there.
No, no worries. I get it. And you're explaining something that is just like almost like one has this natural, flowy, normal human desire that comes out, and it just happened to be the anger. It just happened to be one of
Yeah.
many qualities that show up, and some are received, based on the perception and the way that we perceive what that meaning of that anger is. So this dynamic is just like it's so much work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you go back down and you're like anxious, avoidant, all these different things that we label. Yesterday I was reading about it's like how easy it is to label and to just box the behavior to and apply it to all. How easy and how we do it because we crave it so much to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And in here he speaks about that's just so one-sidedness
Mm-hmm.
because the point of understanding everything is really, to
Surrender.
give up
Mm-hmm.
because nothing makes sense and it's incorrect or it's invalid in many ways. Yeah. But how does your experience how did you tie your experience with Carly with this yoga versus tantra path? How did you find
Oh,
the similarities?
yeah. I was deeply curious about your experience, but I will answer it first. Um, she does really well with yoga, and at the end, he kind of talks about masculine versus feminine psychology, and I think that's we are a bit of an odd couple because she tends to be psychologically more masculine, and I'm more feminine. So for me, she'll invite me to yoga. She's like, it's so good. Like she always comes home. She's like, I feel so good. I'm so glad I do yoga. And she teaches at the local gym, and she'll invite me. We'll get a babysitter occasionally, and I'll go, and I'm like, yeah, it was good. But it doesn't like, there's just something for her that's deeper than what it is for me. Um, but with Tantra, I just feel this natural call and pulling to it. And I tend to have very transformative states when I'm entering into some state of surrender, whether that's meditation or breath work or just letting go of it all, just laying there or sitting or something like that. That's my personal experience with her and I. But I was curious because you did yoga teacher training. How did this show up for you, and did it resonate? Because you went into yoga, it was super powerful for you. You were enjoying it, and then you did the teacher training and then dropped it.
And never went back to. But can I just go back to what you just said? I
Uh-huh.
think it really does help for us to be so fluffy in the air, levitating as Pisces archetype. And why I say this, because our ego is by default predetermined to dissolve in this lifetime. So when we dissolve ego, we are actually feeling everything. So we are, I often say, and as I was reading this, I think it's like throughout Jinkies, I said it many times too. It's like, I do feel like I levitate above the earth. It's like, and the other day I was thinking, it's like, oh, who would understand this? Like everybody will think unconditional, like, okay, let me not use that word unconditional lightly, but I can just talk about love as the essence, right? So as the force, as the aliveness that comes in and lights you up, lights your ass up to move, to wake up every morning, to smile, to have joy and belly laughs. It's like these inspirative, loving, abundant, like almost like unlimited. Here you go. You want to take it. You want to take it. It's very Piscean. And
Yeah.
because by that time, it's nothing is ours. We're literally learning how to dissolve and let go of all matter and limits. And I think how he explains the Tantra side is very, very speaking. It's very understandable for me because I'm feeling that. But at the same time, I have this masculine energy. And somebody just made a comment the other day. She was like, "Oh, I know when you turn so straightforward with your words, you can do it. It's a badass." And I'm like, "But this is when I don't care because my
Yeah.
ego actually comes
Mm-hmm.
in play and I become a bitch." Like, meaning I get things done because I
Mm-hmm.
push forward and there's so much force and aggression in it. And it plays a lot in a work environment. But where my heart goes, I am very poetic
Mm-hmm.
and my language changes totally. It's almost dissolves so much so. While I was reading this, you remember how I used to have
Yeah.
my hands would just dissolve? I had the same exact feeling. I was
When
like,
you read, yeah.
yes.
Good.
I was like, I'm dissolving. I literally am like a lump sum of just spaghetti way of just being here by accident, right?
Mm.
So the language speaks differently. That energy just flows out very artful, very aesthetically beautiful and pleasing. It's very pleasing to be in that
Yeah.
feminine energy. And I think, because I feel I have both.
Mm-hmm.
So they just, in a different environment, they act differently.
Mm-hmm.
And in a many way, androgyny way is, as we have these energies present, we just kind of have to figure out. I can't go to yoga and be like, bam. So your
Yeah. Yeah.
question when I did yoga instructor. So I was passing the exam and it was just like my yoga teachers were just there watching. And as I was leading, I did this left, left leg, right leg. And I just kept snapping and pointing to pa. And I was just like so on point to correct. And my heart wasn't there. I wasn't fluffy. I was leading. And as I was leading, she's like, stop snapping, stop snapping. And she failed me. I actually failed. And I failed.
It's
First,
too
I failed my
Serbian.
exam. First, I failed my exam, then my written exam, and then I failed my. I think I failed the practice first time. Everybody, and here's another thing: everybody, all other women passed other than me, and they just started yoga a year ago, and I've been doing yoga for years, which I also thought was so ironic and funny and
Yeah.
paradoxical in nature. But when I'm given the task to complete, that masculine comes in, and I think this is what I didn't like about it. And I was like, if I'm going to teach anything, I want to teach from the heart. But if I'm expected to, like I don't know how to enter into the yoga and not be aggressive when I teach. I can flow with my own flow. I am more,
Yeah.
even when I go, for example, if I go to the gym, right? Every day I go to the gym and I lift heavy. I'm very feminine when I lift. So
Mm.
I'm surrendering to the process, but I'm listening to my body. I'm so into my body and I am not teaching. But if I were to teach and correct someone, it will be very masculine in nature.
Mm.
And I don't want it. So that's why. That was the main reason why I actually don't want to teach.
Yeah. It's that checks out. Did did they fail you because they sensed that you were not connecting to your heart?
They found me because I was really good at it. I
Really?
was too good. Yes. I actually was twice in my lifetime. I was kicked out of the gym because I was really good in what I'm doing, better than the
Oh, so
teacher.
like potentially threatening their positions or their.
So a couple, okay, let's just touch base on that. There were a couple things that they taught on the class that I disagreed with,
Hmm.
which was very much dogmatic and one-sided, which is not the yoga, right? The yoga is accept all. This is how I understood it. This is how I teach it, and I stood against it. I just
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't agree, and I was asked to surrender to what was told, and I was like, but you are not opening. There's no opening for me to enter, to surrender, rather
Right.
than you have to do this, you have to do this, you can't open. It was very much like shut down all the whites and, take on all the minorities. I was like, that's not how I think in life, right? It was very political in many ways. So I disagreed.
Mm.
And because I disagreed, of course, I was banned for life. But I got my certification. Who knows? It will be needed one time. But I think it was just became very heady.
Yeah.
And my performance was also very heady too. And
Hmm.
I think in the feedback that I received, it was the worst feedback that I received on my teaching. I had 4 pages worth of just negative feedback. And I'm like,
Wow.
if you're any teacher, there are a lot of kids that don't learn anything from negative feedback.
Yeah.
Actually, nobody learns when you're receiving negative feedback. And they gave me that. They gave me
Yeah.
everything that I don't want to be. So I'm very thankful and grateful. I think it's ironic. That's the irony of it. So I don't know why they failed me, but I succeeded if you ask me. I'm
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I would be a great yoga teacher.
Hmm.
It has to come from a different a part of me.
Hmm. Yeah. It's even in that pursuit, like you wanted to have a tantric approach to yoga itself. And I think,
Yeah.
and I think where he's addressing it, you know, potentially in the 70s, yoga was a very different, it was much more of um, a path. It was like, this is the path to get to enlightenment. And this would have been post autobiography of a yogi
Mm-hmm.
who I really enjoyed his book, and
Yogananda's?
Yogananda, yeah. And
Funny.
he mentions like if you if you look at their faces, you see deep suppressions within them, like volcanoes ready to erupt.
Uh-huh.
And a big part of that book is like how his eyes, like, and a lot of yogis, when you see their eyes, like it's just like deep wells of multitude of lives of experience. And then Osho's just like, yeah, these are just volcanoes. Like, but if you look at the Buddha's face, it's complete relaxedness. It's just like a flowering. There's no
Mm.
tension. There's no struggle. And I can't know because I'm not there and I didn't experience what it's like to be in the presence of Yogananda or Buddha. But I can recognize what feels aligned for me. And we have a picture of Buddha up above our bed, and I
Mm.
just love it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm imagining putting Yogananda's face up above our bed with like the intensity.
I just discovered there's a temple here in LA, actually, in Palisades, Yogananda Temple for meditation,
Mm,
which I'm going to go next week or this week to go and
cool.
check out. And it does have that piece, but pre-westernized way of yogic trials, when you're
Hmm.
like, calm down, calm down, calm down, zum, 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 meditate, 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 and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting because um, Osho he's not afraid to ruffle feathers, and he's had commentary on the yogic techniques. Because someone asked him, I think, you know, what about Yogananda's like, he can slow down his heart rate to like 20 beats per minute and basically go into a trance state and levitate his body and do all these things. And Osho's like, basically, basically, he's like, good for him, but so what? Like, you spent 25 years so that you could slow down your heart rate. Like, what's like in the cosmic scale and the
I love
journey of
it.
the soul and of your heart, like, what's so what? You're still gonna die, and um, and I can appreciate that about. I appreciate both sides. I'm like,
Mm,
there's of course there's value, and that's what tantra is. It's like there's, it's not about denying any one thing or taking one path. It's looking at all of it as holy. And
mm,
I love that part because growing up, um, pretty religious, almost hyper religious, there was a clear delineation between things that are holy and things that are unholy. And I couldn't ever reconcile that aspect because there's just inconsistencies in logic. And he played that out with, um, sin being unholy as an example. And
mm.
so he's talking to this Christian, the devil created sin. And then Osho says,
Who created
well, who
devil?
created the devil? And of course, it had to be God. And that's a very basic conversation that came up in my youth all the time between like people that are just curious. And it came down to like the answer for it from the church was, well, God works in mysterious ways and we can't know his motivations for everything. And it's just like, okay, okay, but it's missing the point. The point is like, it's just inconsistent. Like, is it all, is it all like ordained by God and is it all beautiful and love, or is it all negative and bad and this existence is pain and suffering? But there's just there's uh there's very little in the way outside of duality. Duality is just it's the norm in our world, and that's how people view it. And even I have this close friend here on the island who just went back to religion from a very meditative Eastern tantric view of the world, and then back to this like very dogmatic religious. And when I see her writing online, I'm like, it like stays with me. I'm like, why? How did you get wrapped into this world? And I think it's just because it offers a sense of certainty
Mm,
and tantra and becoming the void, like surrendering. It's uncomfortable, and especially with the dynamic nature of the stars and planets and their effects on us and how we interplay in the world.
mm.
It's it's always changing and shifting. It just feels like, I think it's tempting to have solidity and to want to grasp onto something and like, oh, okay, now I can rest in,
Yep.
and there's a song, it's like rest in the presence of Jesus. It's like if you have something that you can attach to and you can hold on to it and it's solid, then you can rest. But it's just an illusion. Like it's not really, that too is not solid. And I think it'd be so beneficial if uh Jesus or like some manifestation of Christ, like as Jesus could come back into the world, and I'm sure he would have a whole lot of tantra to just dump on all of us and explode our minds about what he was actually teaching.
And you know what I love, since you're talking about both Jesus and Buddha,
Yeah.
is that he is talking about how we feel that they're not normal. It's not normalcy for them to just be so enlightened and kind of levitate and disappear in ether, right? So it's not normal. We consider it deep down in the core as outrageous,
Right.
outstandard,
Exceptional.
exceptional. Yeah. And this normal, not normal is very much where we get stuck into what is right, what is wrong. Same thing. And I love how he ties it back to the sexuality of it and that
Mm,
primal urge to just sense and feel the pure pleasure and desire and like almost like or this seduction for life. It's like down
mm,
to the center of the cell, like shocking explosion and potential that it's so dangerous. So, so, so dangerous
mm,
that we block it.
mm.
And I love how he touches onto it and also builds on all Freud's
Yeah.
sexuality is wrong, wrong, wrong. Jung. No, there's something in sexuality that speaks about you. You can't just suppress it. And Rake, I think he's Rake too. He speaks about the alchemy and biochemistry and biomagnetism when the Eros shows up through the. He has entire like hundreds of books. I think he wrote on that biochemistry, that electricity of life that lights us up to live through the sexual arousal and the sexuality in general. So I love that he touches base and says that eventually this will come all together and they build a base for it out of which we can start accepting and just being aware that these chemistries, these almost like parts of us are very much alive is the first step to get into towards the acceptance and love the tease when he explains how would you know that one of these techniques is working. So there's like, okay, let me rephrase. There's like two ways to get into to whatever that we're getting into, which we don't know. Let it be just nothing. Okay. Void,
Mm,
nothingness. Surrender, which is the hardest thing to do in life. And techniques, which we have to first understand and try to practice, like a meditation, like yoga, like everything else, until something clicks. And how will we know that it clicks, that it fits, that is normal for us, that is ours to take, to feel, to live through? It will come with like these like almost like I find it surprise. It's almost like
mm,
surprise that you have nothing else to say to. You're literally in shock. Again, it's very shocking to be surprised by the state of levitating. Have you ever levitated before? Have you ever have a
um,
sense of levitation?
oh yeah, yeah.
And where does it usually occur to you? In meditation, in
Yeah.
sex,
Oh, I never thought about that.
in silence?
Um, Usually the times when it's been clearest has been in meditation, sitting, and it's been years though. I think it was just watching my breath or some very simple technique in meditation.
I lose the boundaries when I'm in intimacy.
Hmm.
I often lose the boundaries in intimacy. And that's when I feel I levitate and I dissolve. And here's another thing too. It's dissolve is so seductive that you want to keep dissolving,
Hmm.
dissolving, dissolving, dissolving. And then of course you have to come back to the body because the moment you start talking, you start thinking, oh, what happens? You conceptualize the entire occurrence.
Hmm.
You lose the track of dissolve. You lose the sense of this dissolution. But yeah, that's levitating is so real to me. It's like I feel this in my underneath my skin as the part of me that I cannot live without.
Mm. Yeah, I'm deep in reflection right now because I was doing this meditation practice and feeling this sort of levitation and lightness and touching the void. And then I just didn't continue, and I'm just kind of reflecting like, why didn't I continue? Um, it reminds me though of, I've never done DMT, but
Mm,
I've heard accounts of people who have, and consistently across the board, people say some people have a difficult time of like letting go and launching into the hyperspace, like the non-dual ultimate dimensionality, like crazy visuals, all this stuff. Some people have a hard time breaking out of that, but I think if you take enough, you get launched regardless. But then what I've heard is the hardest part is coming back into the body. And
mm,
I felt this with a large dose of mushrooms. Like coming back is difficult because you have to reorient your place in the world, your singular viewpoint, the dual nature,
mm.
your responsibilities, your things that you're like, oh, oh yeah, I was supposed to be worried about that. Oh yeah, I had that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, taxes, that's a thing. Okay, that's like it's some of it's silly, but then there's like it's like it's like you're very very light, and then you reorientate into heaviness.
Hmm.
Um, and I think with any technique that gets you to a place of lightness or levitation, you it's of course going to be very desirable to maintain that or stay in it or go back to it as much as you can. Um, so you find that you I'm just going to ask like very bluntly because I think it's kind of funny. Do you find that you are a sex addict because it feels so good?
No, actually. But good question, because I'm reading Elizabeth's book, and she claims that she is a sex addict. I was like, how are you? No, no, she claims to be a love addict.
Oh.
And her entire book is about the shadow side of the love addiction and how you just crave, crave, crave constantly, but it's for, form of another person where you just like, it's
Mm-hmm.
very heavy actually. And I don't perceive love as heavy at all whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
or the acts of love.
Mm-hmm.
And act of love is vulnerability, opening yourself up to surrender. And to do that, you have to be intimate. And you can also be intimate in front of someone who you trust. It doesn't have to have a sexual encounter at all
Mm-hmm.
for it
Mm-hmm.
for you to feel this like almost like a pleasure of just being seduced by love as essence, like allowing some energy of some form of energetic love to come and love on you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to love through you, to move these currents inside of the body. So when I feel levitations, this is where the hands start numbing without any stimulants to shut off the mind in order to feel my body. Right? They come random,
Mm-hmm.
right? They almost come touched, deeply touched by something. And that can simply be like he talks about grace,
Mm-hmm.
and gravity here. And that can simply be act of meta gratitude, or act of like almost like realization of, oh my God, but I am capable of loving another being, giving without asking anything in return, feeling this kind heartedness, speaking through magnetics of authentic self. And I'm going to tell you why I say this. There's this massive event happening, and it's Tech Week in LA, and it's all about AI. All about AI. Events everywhere, left and right. So I attended a couple this week. And they were all women entrepreneurs. And of course, when there's women, I have so much expectations in many, many ways. Expectations because we have the center that is opening from the heart, right? If
Mm-hmm.
we are aware. And if we can drop into the body, we open here on the heart first. And I was actually surprised by the amount of women that are creating these type of products that are AI generated, which is very masculine, and they're hopping on patriarchal train of capital, 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 go fast, go race, and yet nobody's actually investing in them. And it's very hard for them to find the funding for any type of AI software or chat or bot or creation that it's AI generated. No male cares to actually invest because they don't believe in them. And also, it will be replicated. It's a purely
Yeah.
male driven environment, purely masculine, aggressive, violent to that
Hmm.
case. And yet you have hundreds of women sitting out there exchanging and talking about these products that will make you feel authentic. Like, I'm going to create this little mini app and it's going to tell you what you need to dress up today. And it's going to be sustainable. Your return on investment will be this and that. You will buy a
Hmm.
pieces that you will hold forever. And I'm like, this is impossible. Like, why would you want to give yourself so much into it when, like when you're hiding behind it? I need to feel you. And as I was
Yeah. It's
talking,
very heady.
yeah. And as I was talking, I'm like, okay, but where is your happiness?
Hmm.
And here I am, my entire body opens up, my heart. I'm like almost like coming into to touch your soul with my hands,
Hmm.
poetically. And there, of course, I was the only one there, Eric. Of
Yeah.
course. And I'm like, here I am talking and I'm laughing. I'm literally laughing because I find myself silly for being in such environment that it's so heady. And when they were, and what do you do? What's your product? And I said, my product is people. A people, human quality. It's intangible. I don't have any product.
Yeah.
And they have the name tag here and then the company down. And because they ran out of the sticky notes, I only got a little mini piece where I can just squeeze my name. And that's my product. And it was the cutest, the most humble. It humbled me because, wow, am I going against the grain? Because everybody is in the field and I can't help it. At this point, I can't help but not to talk about
Mhm.
when you get so high up there, there will be a massive withdrawal because you
Yeah.
wonder, what is this all about?
Yeah.
Here is my visit card. You can then
Yeah.
talk to me. Here is my website. But I love it. And it's at the same time how I see this is where that acceptance of, oh my God, everybody's rushing there. And there's this huge urge and need and almost panic, like frantic panic, and in a very big sense. And yet I see it and there's nothing I can do about it. So it teaches me so much to let go, to surrender and allow it to happen because that's not my path. This is not my path. I want
Yeah.
to feel my life right now. And I want to feel these qualities of me that make me cry, tear up, that I
Hmm.
wake up with. And I want to gift and give.
Hmm. Yeah. Beautiful. It's interesting because I'm starting to tap into deeper AI stuff for my business and Carly's. Like, how can I create something that would generate us more leads or help with our sales pipeline or help with like following up with customers, just like, administrative tasks that you can outsource to AI. And as I'm like 2 years behind the curve, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to catch up. And I'll watch a video of like this single creator from 5 months ago, and then I'll watch a video from today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the 5 months ago video is outdated. It's not relevant anymore. And then I'll watch the video from today, and then he mentions, yeah, in the next 3 to 6 months, this might be just available for anyone, and you don't have to build it. And I'm like, okay, and I'm feeling how frantic it is to be in this space. There's a lot, of course, there's a ton of money to be made. There's a lot of opportunity, but there's also this rushing energy, it's starting to feel like it's closing in, right?
Mm.
And I think that's the nature of there's something deeply, deeply esoteric about the emergence of such a strong technology, of how it is activating for humanity, of how it is
Mm-hmm.
challenging us. And in a lot of ways, it's almost a needed force to like draw down into the depths or create, like you said, like, in economics, you have like these bubbles that occur and then the bubbles will pop and everything falls down. There's a bit of a depression, there's recession, there's um, bailouts, there's job loss, there's all of these negative events, but what comes out positive from the depths and from the difficulties and from the struggle, the strife. So, yeah, it's a very interesting time that we're in. I think this age of Aquarius, like, how do we balance the extremes of technology with the awakening mind of what it means to be human? I think it's a great time to be asking these questions because we're out here and we're having these conversations and we're not getting millions of views or even thousands of views on stuff, but these questions will remain for as long as we are human and we are engaging in these realms of the deeper needs. And I think we find the souls that, or not we find, I think the souls find us that have a deeper desire than just the surface that's been offered. And in some ways we are kind of putting ourselves out there as forerunners into what it means and what to experience with Osho and Gene Keys, and also just our own personal experiences. So, very roundabout way to say I'm proud of what we're doing because it's quite against the grain. Um, and it also, we're just kind of, with everything that we do, you and I are just checking in and we're saying, is this what feels aligned? Is this what feels alive? Is this what feels important? And
Mm.
um, yeah, my hope is that this depth creates some kind of community eventually. I hope there's a community that rises up and embraces the need for depth and rejects what's offered
Mm.
by this technological revolution and the chase for more money, you know, that life. So,
Yeah. Lots, I often think, what separates me from a smart computer? I'm smart. I'm also having a computer that thinks, that can calculate and does it. This thing just does it faster than I do, but I can still do it. I can create, I can write, I can think, can put things in words. But what separates me? I can do that same thing, but unless I feel, I'm not human. And while I'm feeling what I'm thinking, or while I'm feeling and creating out of feeling, I'm thinking out of my feeling. And it goes vice versa. It's like, that's what makes me human. And I want to feel because I'm here being human that wants to feel.
mm-hmm.
It's like, I really want to feel everything. But you know how he slides inside of, almost literally slides in and says, these are just the states that you can just experience. They're there. When they show up, they're just there. And
Mm-hmm.
that then from that moment, it changes your whole perception about you, everything, life, mind, body, and everything else. And like, you almost cannot control when these states come in, when we are ripe for to mature in this whatever soul body journey it is. He even speaks of soul being the body. Oh, there he is, a little human. Hi, send me a kiss.
Let me give a kiss to Melissa like this.
Mwah. One day you're not gonna go to Disneyland.
Continue.
Um, yeah, how he slides into explaining how he slides into just simply when everything is exhausted from everything mind-headed and everything that we think will work. And when you exhaust everything that there is to be, there's nothing else left rather than to surrender. And that state of surrender is almost like, it's just like, oh, all right. You good?
Yeah, I just had to shut the door.
How much time? I don't want to. Did we just fly off? How much? What time is it?
It's 6:23 here, 9:23 for you.
Oh, do you want to go? I mean, we don't have to. We can.
No, no, no. They don't know.
Ah,
They just come in.
let me know if we run out or late. But yeah, because I was trying to explain is like this state of surrender just comes because there's nothing else left for trials to fail. There's no more trying, there's no more methods. And like we almost have to either exhaust everything that we think will work in order to just give up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's so funny because that question was asked, like, what are the techniques? Why can't we just surrender? And as he started talking through it, I'm asking the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, you can just surrender. And that technically is the only method. The techniques just get you there. And I'm asking it, and he's like, well, why isn't it that we can just surrender? Because it's the hardest thing to do. Because it's not just in meditation that you surrender, like in the quiet space that's protected, when you have your alone time, when you aren't being asked to do things, when you're not stressed with the mundane aspects of life. It's a total surrender, a consistent total surrender. And it is, I'm curious about getting into the techniques because it almost seems like surrender would be the true tantric path, and then the techniques would actually be more yogic. Like techniques themselves would be. So I'm curious about the techniques and how they feel. But I think the approach into the techniques, into like the macro of how he views it, is that's where I guess that's where it's more tantric. It's like only if you feel a change in you, only if you feel more silent, only if there's some permeation into your being of like you feel like you're actually shifting and changing. So yeah. And a quick note on the technology, just to be, this was coming up. Greg Braden.
Hmm.
He speaks on this and he says all technology that succeeds is based on the human body. Our biological technology is the most advanced thing that we have, and we only understand a fraction of
Hmm.
our system. But like the circuit board was modeled after the human cell, and the deeper we go into technology, the more it's like being modeled after who we are as humans, our biological technology. And I find that fascinating. It's like we will only, much like we only really know, like the 1% of outer space and 5% of the deep oceans. It's like we can't ever encapsulate the entirety of the unknown, right?
We
And I,
still are looking outside rather than looking inside.
right, right. And well, that's the reflection too. It's like using the external to try to get some solidity and understand the internal in a
Yeah.
roundabout way. It's like, oh, you're creating these systems, this advanced technology, and then we have to be reminded as a society that this is modeled after human technology. So what does that mean? This is modeled after the atomic structure that's within you, that you're made of trillions of cells, which are reflective of the cosmic technology, which looks exactly the same, just on a much larger scale. So, what does this mean? Can you hold all of that? Can we possibly approach total knowledge of the universe and all that's within it? Or is this actually a process of letting go? And as we
Mm.
approach, we're asked to give up more and more, lest we explode with. It's just, it's like the two paths he talks about is
Mm.
the explosion out of holding it all in, or
Suppression. The
the
explosion out
implosion.
of
Like, yeah. Like we become, he says, in surrender, we become like the deepest ocean, or the deepest valley, and everything is absorbed in, like from all angles, all dimensions, all sides.
Doesn't that excite you?
Yeah, oh, it's deep. It's so exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like I almost, when you're like so, I don't know, intimidated by it, and yet you swallow because it's like you're in almost, yeah.
Apprehensive. Yeah.
Mm. It's like, wow. To be so powerful, to actually accept it that we are so powerful is very mind-boggling. It's like, yeah.
Here we go. You said to me before we started, "Are you ready?"
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
I don't think so, but I'm going anyway."
Are you ready to get confused in the mind and feel everything in the body? I love that we have this conduit. You know how Richard, one Jinky earlier said, "This is the box." What's it called? He called his body a box, a receiver,
Mm,
receiving box that kind of just like has this like frequencies that come in and out from the body. And just the thought about how powerful we are inside the body that we are yet to explore. And yet, we know. We know how powerful we are. And
mm,
yet we disregard it. We can't. And we know how dangerous that power can be to the mind. And we
mm-hmm.
disregard it. And yeah, big deal. I think we're a big deal as humans. Well, as souls, as energies.
Right.
Big deal.
Yeah. And there's I think I hope that there's a restructuring of importance, or what it means to be important. And before
Mm,
we've identified like the builders, the achievers, the very heady goal oriented people as like this is the pinnacle of humanity, what it means to be a human. We elevate these people above everyone else and say, and everyone wants to be like them, aspire to them. To be the Gary Vaynerchuk's, the Alex Hormozis, the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musk,
mm,
and of course there is a place for all of it. But how little emphasis is given to the ones that can surrender so deeply. They're not seen, right? Because they're below everything. I think of the passage in, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. The Tao Te Ching, where
mm,
it's in becoming lower than all, you accept all into you. By becoming deeper, by surrendering, by like bending your knee below everything in existence, you accept it all in. Much like the ocean is beneath everything, all the rivers run to it, all the water returns to it, and everything runs its course back to the ocean.
mm,
Um, but we don't, most of us don't contemplate the ocean in our day to day. We're not thinking about it. Even here on the island, I forget. But when I return to it and go to it, it's just something that's like, that's the ultimate dissolution of. the body and the separateness and the boundaries that we create. Um, and again, maybe that's my Pisces fish wanting to swim in the waters and
And while you were talking, entire time I'm thinking, but we only know 2000 years based on recorded
yeah,
record records. 2000. That's tiny compared to we actually don't know much if you really think about it because we are doing today everything that we know that we have found out
yeah,
and we're doing it as it's the total knowledge, right? And there's no space for like almost if there's like of course we're going to do what we know, of course, right?
hmm,
But what we don't know, we're not even paying attention to. We did not pay attention to what we didn't know. We mythologized it. We burned it. We disregarded it. We placed it in a religious context for control, and that's it. But yet, the sense for something more stayed for the entire
yeah,
time. And you
and it
said,
survived and was passed down.
yeah. And it reminded me, I don't know where I read it. It says, in Roman Empire, they wanted to rule the world. It was everything. In that past, the future was to build the empire. And what their future was today for us is the past in ruins.
Yeah,
Colosseum in entire Athens is full of ruins of someone else's future because it did not, now it's just a memory. But
hmm,
for the entire time, untangible remained the desire to stay, to survive, to come back, to continue, the
hmm,
desire to continue, to
hmm,
evolve, to grow, to expand. And now I talk to my mom, who is just a generation before internet and some overflow of information. Her information used to be just local newspaper. Once in a month, she would buy, that's it. She didn't even have TV back when she was growing up, right?
hmm,
So in her teenage, she got a TV and information started flowing. So her brain started thinking bigger and was able to actually think, oh, there's something else outside my village, my city, my culture. There's a planet is Earth, right? So our conscious grew. And then we hit the informational age, which information is just here you go. Based on your capacity, you can just absorb all this and learn, 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 learn. And we're growing so much. We're still so into the mind of intellectualizing everything. And I
hmm,
think of course we're going to create based on what we know, but I also think that these layers of capacities inside of us are also showing up, right? Gaffney, roommate, soulmate, the wholemate. I am no longer only soul and the body. I am also whole. And to feel whole, I have all these layers inside of me. The inner, the outer, the meta, the quantum, the big, the matter, the invisible, the visible, the imagination, the creation. It's like, so we still create outside of what we are inside. Outside, we create everything in material form, everything in material form, trying to penetrate the soul through matter, and it's not working. Well, it's
hmm,
not working for me. It's like you can't touch me as a computer that says you're beautiful.
yeah,
But if another human comes and says that from the heart, I can feel your frequency coming in, penetrating mine, and evolving me in a very different way. My mom the other day said, she was like, I didn't talk to her for a couple of days. And she goes, you know, your love makes me love me. The
yeah,
way you love me teaches me how to love me.
hmm,
Your love, you never ask for anything, but I live because I feel your love. In many
hmm,
ways, life is love and loving to be here inside of what is living, what is alive in that
hmm,
moment.
yeah, yeah, and this all goes to show that we're deeply connected, deeply, deeply connected beyond any modern system that we can understand it. It's like Like you said, like a computer can tell you you're beautiful, it doesn't resonate. But when a human being does and they're connected to their heart, then it
Mm.
transmits something. And that transmission is a technology that we are unable to understand because we come at it from the aspect of the mind. And again, when you approach from the heart, it's like, I think, I feel that if you're connecting from the heart in that place, we get to an understanding that this body is the perfect technology.
Mhm.
And I think when we surrender to it, I think more abilities will open up to us. I think this is like the uh the prophecies of the future, the gene keys, how we will evolve our abilities um more and more. I think it's a process of surrender, of not unlocking it in the mind or in something we create with AI. It's actually the opposite. So
Mhm.
yeah.
What about his last pieces of you're going to be disturbed when you start coming
Mhm.
inside? And he's like,
Yeah.
first you will get disturbed, and first you will become really mad.
Yeah.
I love it because I'm
Yeah.
so mad. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So he just acknowledged that my states of anger are great
Yeah.
and they're supposed to be here. So let's go.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's validating. It's also opening. It's also like he's kind of setting an example of Tantra, even in as we approach Tantra and like he's laying it out, we still have this temptation to be like, well, not when I'm mad, or not when I'm taking a poop, or not when we separate out activities and we're like, this is when I'm in Tantra and this is something else. I just not gonna look at it. But he's
Yeah.
opening up that doorway, pulling back the veil and saying it's all of it. And I think, reflecting back on that conversation I had with Carly, hey, I got so mad about that and I know it was ridiculous. I just want to acknowledge what triggered it and maybe how I could respond better. But ultimately, like, I am mad. And, her as cancer and kind of getting bothered by that. But in that state, it's like I'm tantrically approaching the wholeness of me and just accepting it. And just instead of saying, like, it needs to be a different way, it needs to look different, I need to be better, I made a mistake and let me make amends. It's just saying, I currently, my experience is this. I know it's not pretty, but it is. It's what's occurring, and something about just expressing it and then being accepted fully as you are, and then you just feel like the release of the thing. And I think that happens too with
Yeah.
sexual desire, at least for me, is when I can voice it and truly feel that I'm accepted, regardless of if it's ridiculous or if it's unattainable or if it's uh again like hungry ghost-ish, like you just had your satiation and now you're going after this, or now again you're attracted to this other it's like just constant, but it's part of what it means to be human, at least in my experience. And that deep self-acceptance, that's what transmits between us. And we feel that with, I think that's what your mom feels from you, is like you have such a level of deep, deep self acceptance. And it can't be learned, it can only be felt, it can only be witnessed in how you go about your life and how you experience connection and how you speak about yourself, how you talk to her, how you show up. And I think that is and that's like a manifestation of the ultimate human technology. It's just this like the alchemization of everything that shows up in our experience, and then how do we turn it back to love and acceptance and surrender.
Yeah. Keep the, I mean, accept that we're alive with it.
Hmm.
Like you said, like this deep acceptance that I have these desires and that they're in many ways also destroying me, but they're also pleasurable, both. But it doesn't mean I will do something about it. And really cool. And you know what that it reminded me? It was one time that you shared the story when you and Carly had made love, and she was just like, I hate you, because she was so happy and joyful. I think something out of her came out to tell you, oh my God, I hate you so much, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you just took it because it was, in a way, an expression of, right? So the ecstasy or whatever that it was, but still, it doesn't it doesn't represent her vastness. It's just the expression, it's just the burst, it's just this like boom explosion of both sides. It reminded me of that. I remember I was laughing, I was like, oh wow, that's shock, that would be shocking to me too. Often what's shocking is like whenever there's words in states like that, I am just
Yeah.
like I am just woo. And often, not often, but sometimes I get a lot of words and I'm like, feel, feel the melody. Can't you see and hear the sound of all the orchestra playing right now?
Yeah.
Ah,
Mhm.
I get so high on it. It's insane. But I love that. You and I talk about the sexual a lot. And I think there's so much for you, I can sense it, for you to like almost like acknowledge or voice out. And in all honesty, I feel there's so much more that you want to say, that you want to express, that you want to ponder upon and
Mhm.
question and kind of just like analyze. And just want to tell you, it's very welcome for you to speak if you want to talk. I love talking about this. I don't think there's a
Yeah.
shame on it.
Hmm. I
But
appreciate
for
that.
that, for that as well, it has to be, you have to feel safe for it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I don't feel that I'm holding anything back. I'm more like um just trying to understand, like, or I guess with this new perspective, I'm actually surrendering to just all of what it is. And I think there's so much, and
Hmm.
that's part of why this has manifested in my life as like a quote unquote problem, is because
Hmm.
it's always felt like too much to possibly hold, or too much
Hmm.
that I can't possibly be accepted and loved. But with Carly and I'm continuously learning that she has enough love for me that she can hold it, and she's capable of being the one that I can be with whatever comes up. So in that process, it's like a new layer shows up and I'm seeing it and I'm like, okay, what does this mean? And then as I just accept what it is, it kind of shifts and changes. So it's like it's currently shifting so much that I'm just like, here's the current little viewpoint, but it's actually a huge wheel and I'm like moving through it.
Yeah.
So I don't have the full picture yet because I haven't been able to surrender around the whole wheel yet. And I actually think of now the astrology, the zodiac, how I'm like, well, let me go through the seasons and then understanding the transits and all this, how it interplays with not only sexual desire, but also just how I feel in my body and like what shows up. And, we're also on a collective level, we're also evolving and how that interplays as well. I think the sexuality is evolving. Um, in one sense,
Yeah.
if we surrender deeply and we come online, then the atomic nature of reality is sexual, like the interplay of the proton neutron at the center, the stability, and then the electron dancing around it in a quantum state. Like that is sexual. So
Hmm.
as we learn to accept more and more, and I think this is what masters can have an experience of, or maybe what I've felt transmitted through their their words, is that they like deep tantra is like you're having sex with the universe constantly. Like it's like an emanation of flow, and the yin and the yang is just like occurring in explosions and all throughout your body, and also all throughout the universe. You're kind of feeling, yeah, I just, that too is like
Mm-hmm.
the other element of the dissolving of the body, the levitation. I think that's all tied in as well. So this is exciting on multiple levels.
This book or in general? The
Yes.
timing.
Yes.
Did you tell Carly we're doing this? You're like, after
Yeah,
the end of
actually,
this book, I'm gonna be a different person.
um, you
So good.
actually, I think, did you ask that we do this? Yeah, I think you did. And then I bought the book, and I threw it in my schedule for me, and then I wasn't gonna tell her because I didn't want to like. Sometimes my bouncing around and doing a new thing and now doing
Yeah.
this, it stresses her out. So I just kept it chill. I wasn't gonna tell her, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I saw it in the calendar." She's like, "Cool." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
See you on
I
the other side.
Yeah. See you in the middle.
Yeah. Well, you get to practice a lot of these things with her, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, look at this thing.
I know.
Got a long way to go.
Yeah, this is what just, visual is scary, but it's so good. Okay, I loved this one. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And I can't wait for the next week's one.
Hmm. Yeah,
There's
me
just so
too.
much to talk about, but also a lot of it is feeling as well. So I'm gonna go and fluff my wings and just fly, continue flying and
Hmm.
levitating today.
Yeah, next week we get our first technique. So
Mm-hmm.
we will come to the talk having practiced at least once the technique and see.
Ooh, yes. Okay. Bye.
Love you. Bye.